Good morning, everyone, and I'm so excited to post this lesson. But before anything else, for those who first see me now in this video lesson, I am attorney Marachel Rala Borracho, and I'm doing this LexClassroom project together with my team, the committed team of the LexClassroom, as a tool to help our aspiring lawyers and even the newly admitted members of the Philippine Bar, and even as a source of review tool for those already members of the Philippine Bar. And I want to emphasize this is a free educational tool and totally independent from my professorial job as a junior professor of the University of Cebu School of Law. Now, this lesson is actually an answer or a way to address the requests and questions of our newly admitted members of the Philippine Bar, because many are interested of becoming a notary public, and I want to emphasize and the link of the previous lesson on how or what are the qualifications of a notary public in the Philippines. And in fact, when I search in Google how to become a notary public in the Philippines, actually that lesson is in the first entry of the Google search. Now, again, I want to repeat the topic. Here is our topic: becoming a notary public, and expect the following areas will be tackled in a little while. The qualifications, the general context of qualifications of becoming a notary public in the Philippines. What are the considerations before one wants to become a notary public in the Philippines? And what are the necessary preparations that must be done for one to be considered or having that commission, the notarial commission? Now, in general, one must be a lawyer in the Philippines to be a notary public. And you have to remember this. In the Philippine jurisdiction, all notaries public are lawyers, but not all lawyers are notaries public, because this task or this area of the legal practice is highly demanding, and I will lay down the reasons why this is a highly demanding task. And another important qualification before one can be a notary public and start practicing this task would be a notarial commission that will be obtained or has to be obtained from the proper court. And by proper court, I mean the office of the executive judge. It's where one has to file the petition for notarial commission, and there's no other office to which the petition is filed. Now, before wanting to be a notary public, I ask these four significant or material questions. Do you have the absolute commitment? You will know later why absolute commitment is necessary. And do you have any pending case that would affect your good moral standing as a member of the Philippine Bar? Now, do you have a determined and definite office? And do you have the sufficient financial resource? Timely, we will be addressing these important considerations. Now, do you have the commitment of becoming a notary public? Why? Because the preparation is not easy. Aside from being a lawyer, although it's very taxing to have that prefix in your name, the ATTY, the preparation is not easy, such that you have to file a petition in court. It's not easy. It's like, for those newly admitted to the Philippine Bar, it's like your first case that involves your petition for notarial commission. And once you are commissioned to be, or as a notary public, you have a continuing compliance. You have to submit the documents that you notarized. You have to buy the notarial book from the Office of the Executive Judge or the OCC or the Office of the Clerk of Court so that you will be in compliance to the rules. And you have to be updated of the rules. If there are changes, one example would be the list of what we considered as competent proof of identity. Now, the risks are high because one may be disbarred, suspended from the practice because of an erroneous or a mistake or even an error in doing the notarial acts. And it demands wisdom and firmness. I included this especially that you will be meeting clients, walk-in or retainer clients who asked you to notarize a document which may not be in compliance to the rules. Example would be the person is not present during the notarial act, or there's no proof of identity, which is considered by our laws as competent enough. And you have to be firm in such a way that you need to say no, learn how to say no, which is quite difficult, especially for Filipinos. Now, aside from this, do you have any pending case? For the pending case, it's not necessarily all cases. Like if a person is facing a civil action, it does not necessarily affect the good moral character of that person, right? So you have to consider also those who were conditionally admitted to the Philippine bar, although they could not take the oath once as before they could clean out the conditions or fulfill the conditions or even address the reasons why there is a conditional admission. Now, I have to emphasize whether you have a pending case or not because you have to have 5 clearances attached to your petition. One would be your police clearance. Second would be your NBI or National Bureau of Investigation clearance. Third would be your prosecution office clearance. Third would be your fourth rather would be your court clearances, and the court clearances involve both the municipal trial court and the regional trial court. So these clearances must be appended to your petition, and in the next lesson I will teach you how to draft your petition. And again, this is going to be your first petition, the first case that you're drafting. Now, you have to remember also that you cannot get your police clearance if you don't have a barangay clearance. So this is how demanding or taxing the task would be. And obtaining these clearances actually will take you a day. So you have to consider that. Now, where is your office? This is one difficult question to answer, and we're always baffled by the dilemma whether you're going to declare your residence as your own notarial office or you have to have a separate office. You may be owning it or renting it. So, which is which? I intend to have a guide related to decision making when it comes to answering this question, the residence versus the office dilemma. Now, in gist, it's very difficult to mix your personal life with your professional life. So it's possible that you're still sleeping and someone will knock on your door asking for the notarization of an affidavit of loss. So you lost your resting period. This is just one example that you have to consider, especially if you need some sleep Like you're a person who does not wake up early morning, especially. Now, do you have the financial resource for your office? Because the office, good for those who were paralegals prior to the admission to the Philippine bar, because usually they get offers from their previous employers or from the law office that employed them before passing the bar exams. But if you're not one of these people, lucky people, you have to consider the furnishing of your office, and you have to consider how much is the rent for that office, and what are the necessary things that must be in your office. And it relates to another factor that you have to consider: the location of your office and the accessibility of your office. You could be in the city center, you could be in the poblacion, but it doesn't mean that your office is accessible to your clients, especially the old people or those persons with disability or who are physically challenged, because you could be in the city center, but you're in the second floor or third floor and there is no elevator. You have to consider also your presence, how often you are in the office. And I remember I applied my notarial commission in Lapu-Lapu City. And during that time, I was still employed with in a real estate developer. And I had to consider that only during weekends that I was present in my office, and on only during holidays. So, and it's, you have to consider that it's your presence that makes you reliable, that you have clients who you would consider you as a to-go person. Now, what about the manpower? In case you are attending a hearing, in case you are not present or you're out of town, do you have to close your office, or you have someone who would set the schedule when you will be present, or what will be your schedule? And if you're going to open together with a secretary or one staff, you have to consider whether that staff is competent to entertain clients, whether that staff has a good customer relation skills. Now, lastly, the compliance. Especially that if you're that busy, you will forget the compliance, the monthly compliance, the reports that you need to make, especially during a renewal of the notarial commission. So these things, these factors you must consider now before even drafting or starting the drafting of the petition. Now, are you ready with the expenses entailed in the application of becoming a notary public? So, before anything else, after considering the factors that I said a while ago, check your wallet first, or let's say your passbook or your bank account. So, again, you need to determine where is your office, and the location entails financial expense. Because if you're in the city center, the rent is quite higher. How big even is the office or the area involved, then the bigger the area, the bigger the cost. What about the furnishings, the computer, the printer, the chairs, the tables that you're going to use? And this entails cash, especially that they're saying that inflation rate is very high these days. Now, the documentary requirements for the petition. A while ago, I said that you need to fulfill 5 clearances. And in order to obtain these clearances, it entails cash. And this is aside from the other requirements that we will be laying down or listing down in the next lesson. Now, the filing fee involves, since it's like you're filing a case or a petition before the court, you need to know that there's a filing fee involved. And the publication fee, since it's predetermined by the court where the which newspaper during after a raffle, the if the newspaper being picked during the raffle is quite expensive, then you have to consider. And I think here in Cebu, what I remember during my time, I paid around 5,000 pesos for my publication fee, and it was way back 2014. And you have to consider the entry and maintenance costs. The entry, like when you get hold of your notarial commission as issued by the executive judge of the regional trial court in the jurisdiction where you are applying, you need to buy a seal, a notarial seal. You need to buy the notarial book. And I think the notarial book now would cost more than 1,000 pesos. That's what I remember. I think 2 weeks ago, I bought two. Now, the maintenance cost, again, the manpower, your office, the paper that you will be using in the conduct of your notarial task. So, this you have to consider. Now, for the next lesson, I will be giving you the step by step preparation of the petition. I will even, actually, I asked my secretary yesterday to pull out from our archives the first copy of the petition of the first, the copy of the petition that I first filed back in 2014. So I hope in this very brief lesson you were able to grasp does what do you need to do, or what do you need to consider before you will decide becoming a notary public. And again, it's not an easy question to answer. Now, again, I want to thank our Facebook likers and followers. And I haven't checked because I deactivated my Facebook to it's like I'm having a social media detox while I'm dealing with my long COVID symptoms. And also our YouTube subscribers. Feel free to explore and navigate on the lessons, the previous lessons, even especially the qualifications of becoming a notary public based on the 2014 notarial rules, or 2004 notarial rules. And also our website. Again, I want to make this statement. It's an ongoing project, so we are doing our best to put into writing the videos because there are people who may have challenges in hearing, sense of hearing. Now, again, I thank you, and please look forward to our second part, which is again a step-by-step preparation of the notarial petition. And if you know someone who's interested of becoming a notary public, especially those newly admitted to the Philippine bar, feel free to share our lesson. And for those aspiring lawyers, and in fact, I was so happy to know that one of my clients enrolled actually in law school. But I was telling the sister that I was looking forward that she will be enrolling in our school, in the University of Cebu School of Law, so that I will also be her professor, especially in Intro to Law. Thank you again, and please look forward to the next lesson. And tomorrow we will be publishing our quizzer for today's lesson. Thank you, and please take care because COVID is still around and no one is actually safe, even one is vaccinated. And in fact, I'm vaccinated. Thank you.